có thể vô vấn được gì đó mấy
Board to order. It sounds like it's on, huh? Today is October 4th, 2016, and please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And just as a reminder, please make sure your phones are silent. And we'll start with roll call.
Board Member Franco is absent tonight. Board Member Coe. Board Member Medeiros.
Here.
Board Member Gredstock.
Here.
And Chairman Guerrero.
Here.
And quorum.
Okay. The first item is public comment. This is the time when you have something you want to say. It's not on the agenda. You may put in a speaker card, come forward, and say what you want to say. If there are no speaker cards, no one's... Okay, then we'll move on to informal project review. And at this point, someone with a prospective plan for a project in town can present it to us just for informal review. And at a later time, they can come back having already submitted paperwork to the city. And I believe we do have the Bertas here tonight.
Madam Chair, the applicant called and said they'd like to continue this thing.
Okay. So you'll bring it back another time, but you just wanted to make a statement. Okay.
Yeah, so sorry, Board, Greg Berto, 107 3rd Street. So we were going to give an informal review. I think you guys have gotten some plans and some information on our project. When we first bought the property, we were under the impression that it was only under the jurisdiction of the Historic Board of San Juan, and then Board Member
Guibert
notified us today that we're actually on the National Registry and subject to the Secretary of Interior's standards. So it may or may not change our approach with the project. We want to just kind of circle those wagons and see. But in the meantime, if you guys have questions based on what you saw, I'm happy to answer those. The plan for the property is to maintain a mixed use. We'll do a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment on the second floor with a restaurant on the first floor. We're going to change the name of the restaurant to Richter's, and that's based on the Richter scale, given our proximity to San Juan Bautista, or to San Andreas Fault. We want to put a full bar in. Our chef is promoting the restaurant as an Italian-themed steakhouse. A little more fine dining, a little higher end, but still catering to the locals. So, the property is in quite a bit of disrepair. Our plan is to pretty much leave the original building from 1858 as it is. We would like to change the color, and we would like to change out the vinyl windows and the sliding doors that were added at some point along the way, back to something more traditional. We want to take out the batter boards on the 2 side doors that now look like windows from the main entry and turn those back into operating doors. Hopefully open those up for when the weather presents itself. We'll probably take out the vines on the front of the building. I know they've been there for a long time, but if they've done anything like they've done to the vines did to the back building, it's pretty much destroyed the back structure. So that's part of our challenge with the project now, being subject to the Secretary of Interior's, is that whole back area that was added on in the 30s and probably sometime in the 50s and 60s has pretty much been destroyed by the vines and letting the vines overgrow. So now trying to figure out how we comply with the National Registry standards illegally. Yeah, that's kind of our vision for the property.
I wish I brought the packet of material I had for you, because both the 1981 and the 2005 inventory say that the house was built in 1870, so it's not quite as old. Where did you get the 1850?
In the disclosure packet that we got from the realtor, yeah.
Because this is in the Secretary of, in the DPR's, the Department of Park and Recreation documents that are prepared by the National Park Service. They have estimated build dates, they have confirmed build dates, and 1870 is a confirmed build date for that property. I did the Then and Now article on the La Casa Rosa May of last year, and the old picture shows no ivy vines in front, so though I think they're attractive, and I think I can understand that you have to do what you have to do. And I'm not aware of the back portion, so that'll be something that Mike Garavaglia could help you with.
Yeah. So we'll reach out to Mike and get some advice from him and how we kind of move forward with the project. We are under a bit of a time crunch only because the way we finance the property, the residential portion of the property, we have to have it done by January. So now I got to talk with the finance folks and see if I can get a little bit of an extension on that, just because I don't know how this is all going to affect how we move forward. But anyway, so I do want you to know that we are working on it. Unfortunately, when Mr. Shockey left, he pretty much left with the clothes on his back and a suitcase. So we spent the last 6 weeks to 2 months just trying to go through everything that he's left us, and we tried to sell some stuff and donate some things, and wrinkled some feathers, but.
Well, I appreciated seeing that you'd like to keep some of the memorabilia, signage, and displayed inside. I'm with the Historical Society too, so if there's anything you wanted to donate, we'd be happy to take it.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely want to honor the history of the property. There's some things that we've heard that it's on the ghost walk. At one point, apparently, it was a brothel, and there's an article going around that we have hooker ghosts. We're going to figure out some way to incorporate that, whether it's a mirror behind the bar that'll have a holographic image, or the lights will sway or dim, or somehow we want to honor the history of it. Play for that, so for sure.
Do any of the board members have any questions or comments? Or okay.
Sounds good to me.
See you in a month or two.
Yeah, good. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Okay, then we'll move on to the action items. We have action item A, approve affidavit of posting, and approve minutes for September 6, 2016.
I'll
I'll move to approve both of those.
I would like to ask a question about the minutes. On discussion items, is it necessary to say no action was taken? Trish, I guess I'm addressing you.
I'm not sure why I would have put that in.
B,
Should have went towards that, but no, I agree with that.
well, B, C, D, E, and F all end with that. So I don't think it's necessary to say that.
Okay, I know that.
Okay, then, do you want to revise your motion?
Sure, I'll move to approve these with those revisions.
Okay.
I'll second. Go ahead, second.
Okay, Board Member Franco is absent. Board Member Koch,
Aye.
Board Member Maderas,
Aye.
Board Member Gretasoff,
Aye.
Chairman Franco, Goodbeer.
Aye.
Did I say that?
Yes, aye.
Thank you. With 4 members of the board being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes 4-0-0-1.
Okay. We're moving on to the discussion items. Item A is October 22nd Cleanup Day. It's National Make a Difference Day, and the Strategic Planning Committee has suggested that San Juan keep the cleanup day on the same day. Across the country, everybody will be doing it, participating. It'll be from 8 to 12, and it'll be followed by a hot dog barbecue at Luck Park. If anyone's interested, and I hope most people are, you'll need to complete this form. They're available in the office. I've got 2 here. And I imagine, we need to know who you are, but I imagine it's probably for liability issues. I'm not sure.
Yeah, actually, I'm on the committee
Okay.
for that. So we're going to be setting up some strategic areas within the city that need more care than others. There'll be one like here, City Hall, and beautifying and laying out some stuff. Community Hall, cleaning up everything around it in the corporation yard. Washington Street Bridge, and cleaning up all of the dog soil and weeds. We'll have a area captain that'll kind of keep people together. It's being limited to 50 volunteers in total this year, just because it's our first year. We don't want to get things. We don't want to get it out of hand. Yeah, this is just
the
manageable.
enthusiasm might be overwhelming.
Yeah. And then we'll probably work for 2 to 4 hours, and then end up at the Luck Park, Luck Museum area for just a quick little hot dog and whatever thing. So we've got a lot of. We've been talking to a lot of the local vendors about donations and stuff like that. So.
Okay.
Be pretty cool.
So, hope to see you all there. Do we have a comment? Okay. Hi, Jolene.
Jolene Cosio, 181 Lang Street. I just want to say I'm in full support of this. I turned in my volunteer thing today, and I guess that's not actually the release. I understand from Trish when I went in to get it that we would be signing some kind of volunteer release on the day of.
I thought there was a separate pay for...
Is that correct, Roger? Are we going to have a...
Not this. Other than this, I imagine.
Because that doesn't say anything about...
it doesn't say anything about,
There's not even a signature on it. Roger, will we have some kind of release that we need to sign for volunteers?
Connie and
Sean
are working on that.
Putting all that.
Are they? Yeah. There's going to be something, I believe, on the day when you sign, when you come in, if you're on that list, when you come in, that you'll have to sign off, so we have it on file.
Yeah, just to release the city from
Exactly.
liability.
How do you look in orange? We've got the orange safety vest. Do you look okay in orange?
It's not one of my colors, but
Well,
I'll be happy to
it'll
wear
be
an
okay.
orange vest so that I don't get hit by any cars or anything. But I plan on distributing some of the flyers in my neighborhood because I'm near that Washington Street Bridge, and a lot of neighbors complain about it, and I'm hoping that I will be able to get them to back up their complaints with a little bit
action.
of
we're going to be looking for a captain for that area, in case you want to.
Yeah, I'll be captain. No
Write that down.
Because that also means that if I do get a lot of volunteers, you can't move me to
A different area.
So I will be stuck there.
Library's already taken.
Oh, okay. But I don't know that we need to worry about getting too many volunteers, because when I turned mine in, there were not very many at City Hall. I don't know what Connie and Shauna have, but it didn't seem like we're getting a lot of volunteers yet. So I want to encourage everybody to volunteer for this day. I think it's a really worthy thing. And was there a time on there when we're supposed to?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
8
Is there,
o'clock.
where do we meet?
I believe it's going to be at Luck
Park.
Luck Park.
On Saturday, October 7th.
Yeah, we haven't really done a lot of advertisement on it. We're going to really kind of hit it hard. I think there was going to be a flyer in the water bill, and then we're going to start hitting the social media and such the week of.
There's a deadline on there of October 14th.
That's right, the 14th.
Is there? I think
Yes.
I thought they extended that out. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not on here actually, but oh yes it is. Register
it's
by
on
October 14th.
Because I figured I better get out and get my neighbors to get
Do you need
down
any
and
more of
fill out
these?
the-
You've got
No, they were kind enough in the office to give me some extras to pass out to my neighbors and friends. So yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad that it's being organized, and hopefully we'll all get out there and help. And Trish also mentioned to me today that we would be bringing our own tools and that sort of thing.
We will be asking for you to bring some of your own implements, just because we.
Gloves.
Well, no, I think gloves we have covered. It's going to be more like shovels and rakes and things like that, because we didn't want to get too many things that were.
So what's being provided is basically a vest and gloves.
Basically safety items.
Good.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Thank you. I hope there's a good turnout. I mean, we live in a small town. Our staffing is limited, and I think that we all need to own our town. This is where we live. We need to take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
The next item is item B, vacant or abandoned historic building ordinance. I had brought this up because 2 buildings on Polk Street were graffitied, and immediately the graffiti was covered. However, the white paint is still on the buildings that aren't white, so to me it's still a problem. I looked on the Hollister Municipal Code and see that they have items for a duty to keep in good repair, ordinary maintenance and repair. Salinas has a graffiti. And then I looked at San Juan, and we have property maintenance, Chapter 5, property maintenance, buildings requiring paint, graffiti, unsecured vacant buildings, blighted building conditions. It just all comes down to enforcement. And from what we've heard a number of times, if nobody complains or puts in a report, nothing's going to happen. That's the reality of our small town. So I think if you see anything in town, I think we need to say something. There are forms in the office.
There's forms online too
as
that
well.
you can fill out and send in. Merely writing an email does not necessarily guarantee it gets onto a complaint unless it's on a complaint form. So my understanding is it has to be on a complaint form in order for it to go to the next step.
And I think people need to be more proactive. You can't just complain about something. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. That's how it is, I think. So, City Manager, do you have anything to add?
No, occasionally, both Rudy and I, we go out and we'll write letters to people where we see it, and some of them are very cooperative and clean up the thing, and there's other ones that just ignore it.
Yeah.
If it gets ignored, what are the next steps?
The next step then is to file an abatement order and bring them to a hearing in front of the City Council. And
how often does that happen?
I did it 3 times, and we got results.
I think we have to get tough. A previous planning commissioner, I think before he was even on the commission, got some buildings downtown red tagged because of their safety conditions or lack of, and the problems were remedied, and we just have to get tough, I think.
Yeah.
So
Definitely has to be a community effort.
Yeah. If we want to be a vital town that people come to visit, we need to, again, take care of it. So. All right. Item C, status of the orchard garden. Do you have anything to report?
Chris has been away. He's on the committee in Europe, and he should be back shortly and everything. And we've been meeting with Dan Dodge from Maleo's office and spearheaded, and they've had a few meetings with the state officials, particularly over in Monterey, but since Chris has been gone, we haven't really been
Okay.
collaborating with him, so as soon as he gets back, we'll probably be setting up some more meetings.
I might like to sit on one because I'd like to do a then and now article on the orchard garden, then and now, but I want it to be fact-based, so.
Yeah, I'll make sure when we get the next meeting, you'll get invited, and so we're there. And we've got good response from the Monterey and the Sacramento, a little bit fuzzy at the local level, but it's coming along.
Okay.
At least they're in a dialogue now.
Good, very good. Any commissioners or board members, audience? Okay. Then the next item, city's allocation of funds toward tourism. I went to a San Benito County Chamber couple of meetings, and the topic came up about the TOT dollars, tax on tourism?
Transit occupancy tax.
And I wondered, is that coming in, and where is it going? Is it going into the general fund? Is there a sub-funding for tourism? Or?
The TOT comes in, and then we log it in under the general fund. We've San Benito County Chamber of Commerce, we granted them $5,000 this year, and the San Juan Committee is granted $6,000, a total of $11,000.
I'd heard that the retreat center it's really not in San Juan, is it? It's in the county?
County, yeah.
So we won't receive those monies?
No.
No. Okay. Is there anyone from the audience who has any comments, questions? Board?
Yeah, our three areas of TOT is the Posada, the Hacienda de Leal, and the Mission RV Park.
Okay, of the Mission RV Park.
Really?
Huh.
Who would have thought?
That's interesting. Are there like overnight rental units there, or is it just?
Yeah.
Okay, and those are the only ones that are.
Yeah,
okay.
the overnight.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. Okay. And then moving on to comments. Historic Resources Board?
Not at this time.
No, not at this time. Okay. I would like to invite everyone to come to the Historical Society Open House this coming Saturday. The museum will be open from 9 to 1. The library normally opens from 10 to 2, but they'll open at 9:30 because they'll have coffee. Come on over. The Historical Society will have the 2017 calendars available. They're really awesome. Inside there are pictures of the pageant, the rodeo. The cover is Old Rocks Road, which is now Highway 101, part of it. So it's really a nice keepsake. It's a nice gift. And in the museum we'll have an oral interview on tape that'll just be going. I think we'll also have a Huell-Hauser VHS going at the same time. So it'll be interesting things to see and look at, and then the library will be open as well. And a lot of people I know haven't even been to the library, and I think you should go see it. It's got a lot of features that people can take advantage of. Wi-Fi and MOBAC, Monterey. Well, it's we can rent books from other parts of the county, from San Benito County, Monterey County. So if we don't have it at our library, they can get it for us.
There's also the Breen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. On October 23rd, a professor from a college in Nevada, I think, will be doing a Chautauquan presentation of Margaret Breen.
Doris Dwyer.
Doris Dwyer. Well, you can tell us because you're on that committee.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I wasn't prepared for it.
Okay. It will be at, I think the doors to the Mission will open at 3.
It'll be at the Mission.
And that'll be followed by a wine and cheese tasting at the Casa Maria.
And a silent auction?
Yeah, silent auction. So you can go to either, or you can go to both. It's very well priced. I think it's going to be a tremendous event. I got my tickets already. They're available at the Mission gift store. Where else?
I think I understood it was just at the gift shop
Or
at
you
the church.
Can contact Peggy Neubauer,
And
I think.
Peggy
Yeah.
Neubauer, you can contact her. She's in charge of that too as well.
I think it'll be a really
Yeah.
interesting event. She's widely acclaimed. She's done this innumerable times, and it's going to be great.
There should be a flyer around here somewhere.
There should be.
Yeah, there might be one
I
here.
kind of think I did see one.
At City Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there one on the outside of the...
Yeah.
Anyway, it's in the Mission Village Voice, so check that out. Anything else? That was good. Thank you for the reminder.
Sure.
The date again on...
It's October 23rd. It's the day after. Okay.
The one for Luck Library.
That's this coming Saturday.
Well, that's this
Yeah,
coming
October
Saturday.
8th.
And they open at 9:30. There's no barbecue or anything.
No barbecue. It's not a city-wide thing this time. And we'll be open at 9.
They'll be open at 9.
Yeah.
The library books, $5 a bag.
Yeah. They have really culled a lot of books out of the library, and they're selling them for $5 a bag. New books, some of them have hardly been used at all. So,
Cool.
yeah. Okay. Then, City Manager, any comments?
None?
Okay. And Rudy's not here. So then I'll adjourn this meeting and pass the gavel to David.
All right, thank you. Okay, so at exactly 25 minutes after the hour of 6, we will start the Planning Commission meeting. We'll start that to go. So here we go. Let's have, first of all, call to order. And then, we already did the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call.
Commissioner Franco's absent. Commissioner Koch?
Aye.
Commissioner Medeiros?
Here.
Commissioner Grassoff?
Here.
Commissioner Guerrero?
Here.
We have four.
Thank you. Okay, I understand there's no informal reviews today.
That is correct.
Public comments, do we have any public comments before we start that? Anybody wants to come up and talk to us about anything that's not on the agenda? You're more than welcome to join us, speak before us if you want. Anybody? Any cards? Any speaker cards? Okay. All right, informal project reviews? From what I understand, we don't have any?
None.
Okay. Okay, so that, we go to action items. Action items A and B, which is approved affidavit of the posting agenda, and also the approved minutes for September 6, 2016 meeting.
Okay, I don't want to approve them all at once because I have some comments.
Okay.
For item B, no, item C, May 3rd. No. Wait a minute. I don't have May 3rd. Do you have May 3rd?
Yes?
Yes.
Should be the top one.
Oh, I have to go back. Sorry, okay. I do have it. On page 3, item C, to be consistent with D, a motion was made by Commissioner Guibert and seconded by Commissioner Koch to approve Resolution 2016-22 recognizing Tom and Dee Koch. And then I want you to add, for maintaining their property at 1111 First Street.
Okay.
And that way it'll be more consistent with the public structure commendation.
Let's see.
Yeah, 1111, 4 ones.
4 ones, yeah.
Okay, that's it for that month. It's nothing in June. August, page 3, top first paragraph. We have Representative Kathy Osterich stated stockpile dirt came from Appleside and San Jose in different areas. Chairperson Franco opened the public hearing. Visitor John McCormick spoke in favor of the project. I think he should be identified as realtor, or he's more than a visitor. He's self-identified as a Manning realtor. What do you think?
I agree.
Okay.
Which one was that? Page 3.
Page 3 for August.
I don't.
Wrong
have-
one.
Oh,
I don't-
hang on.
Okay. Oh, August we had to print ourselves.
We did?
Yeah.
I don't have a copy.
Don't have it.
Okay, and that's it. So I guess I'll make a motion to approve the agenda of posting and the minutes with the corrections?
I don't have August to look at.
Oh,
You want to hold off on those?
sure.
We could.
Or we could approve it with 3 and abstention.
We could approve the May 3rd one.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we could just.
We could do that and hold off on
Get one
on
of
the
them off
August
the-
one since we don't have it
the list.
as well. Let's see. So that would be items.
Was that in the packet originally?
No, we got an email about it.
So we can approve A, right?
I'm lost. Okay, we could approve A and B.
A and B,
And C
approve,
and
and
D,
C and D.
and then continue.
Continue E. So make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 4A, B, C, D with the corrections as noted.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Second.
Call for a vote?
Commissioner Guevara?
Aye.
Commissioner Graysoff?
Aye.
Commissioner Maderas?
Aye.
Commissioner Coe?
Aye.
And Commissioner Franco is absent. With 4 members of the commission being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes 4001.
Okay, thank you. All right, item number 5, public hearing items. Starting with A, consider approval of site and design review for a secondary unit at 501 6th Street. The parcel number is 002-360-012. Applicants Richard DeAndrade and Nicole Fisher. Consider approval of resolution 216 dash whatever, approving the site of design review for a secondary unit at 501 6th Street at that parcel. Yes. Good evening.
Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
I noticed a change in the conditions from the September 6th proposed resolution versus the one that was recently sent for the October 6th. And I sent a question on why the conditions changed, but I didn't get an answer. And I'm fine with 11 of those 12. The last one would be that they would be constructed or must be constructed to ADA standards. I'm not okay with.
Okay, that looks like number 9 on page 1.
No, it's number 12 on page 3.
It's 12 on page 3.
I don't
Are
have
you
a
looking
page.
at the revised one? You got a revised one with your...
Tonight we got a revised one?
Correct.
Yeah.
It was also sent, yeah.
So the last 3 are different from the one that was from September 6th.
What was the change?
The change was number 10, the sidewalk, 11, encroachment permit. I'm fine with that because the sidewalk has a crack and I have to do it anyway. But number 12, it says I must construct a unit to ADA standards. And that was not in the one on September 6th.
Yeah, well, the resolution I have here said can be constructed,
Okay.
and now it says must be.
It says must, so must and can is
Different, yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
my vocabulary.
I think,
I want to make it can.
I think, no, what we said is the front door has to be a 3.0 door. Into the restroom has to be a 3.0 with handicap capabilities.
What does that have to do with the sidewalk? He's asking about the sidewalk.
The
Well,
sidewalk,
I'm asking about both.
Okay.
Right.
the sidewalk
okay.
has a crack in it.
Yes, and
Yeah,
that I'm fine
and
with.
the driveway is really substandard in the width, yeah.
And that's totally fine,
Okay.
because I'm gonna fix that, because I don't want to have the cracks and
Yeah.
it falls down, and all that other nonsense.
Number 12 is a concern.
12 is a concern, because it says must. If it says can, it's okay, because I haven't, gone and done the diligence to find out what exactly it's gonna cost me to do this, if I have to do it that way. And then I have a concern is if I do build it that way and record it in the deed that it must be, and somebody else buys the property and they want to do, then it's just going to be retained. So if I would like to have the option of having it open, and if that's the case, I'll build it that way. If I find out that I can, or if it's acceptable, but I don't want it noted that it has to be that way, because then it just kind of puts me in a box, and I don't think it's reasonable.
When did we receive an email about a new resolution?
Thursday or Friday. I'm thinking maybe Friday.
I don't know why we get our packets so early when there's always changes. I find it very confusing.
We asked for it. I think that's why.
Yeah, I think you asked
Yeah.
for it, yes.
Yeah, but
I have no problem changing it to can because I think that's more appropriate than must.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to do staff report first?
Well, I was going to ask the city, do we have any problems changing it to can? I mean, yeah, why don't we just go that route?
It's, the Achilles heel is that if they rent it to somebody that requires a ADA requirement, then they'll have to retrofit it at that time.
And are we talking just about the front porch, the access into the house, or are we talking about interior walls into the bathroom, or because we're not requiring all projects to be ADA compliant?
Well, you did on Handy Moore's.
Yeah.
So my question was, is it sort of legislated, or I don't know what the right word is, in the general plan that all secondary units must be constructed in this manner?
Maybe you're asking about federal law, whether it has to be ADA compliant under federal law. Is that the question?
Well, I'm asking for the general plan because, well, and bear with me, I'm not, I don't do this every week, every month like you guys do, so, maybe my logic is wrong. But, from what I understand, what I read in the proposal, it was that it would meet the guidelines of the general plan, fall within all the rules designated as such for development of an additional unit. It would also allow the city to earmark or denote that it's a affordable housing unit in terms of how the city decides to allocate those units within its bounds. And as such, if it's mandated that all secondary units have to be in that way, I mean, I'm curious about that because that's the way it's being presented in the proposal that was emailed to me. And if that's the case, then I want to know, where it's noted as such. If it's something that's just being suggested, then, I have a problem with that.
With the Andy Moore project, what did we require?
I think we required it ADA. Of course,
Well,
he
what
wanted it ADA.
What does that mean, though? Are we talking about just the front porch, or?
Because of his grandmother, from his mother. Yeah.
Asking for the front porch is not a big deal, but...
If you change it to discretionary, the applicant can, then that eliminates it. Then it's up to him,
Historically, what has been done throughout the city?
In situations where there are people that are elderly, we ask that they comply with the ADA requirements because we know that they're going to be in a wheelchair very shortly.
Not knowing what that unit's going to be used for.
Right.
Then it's discretionary, and 12 could be changed from must to can.
The unit that was originally proposed on 7th Street in that little narrow lot, the one that he wanted to build way up the top of the hill,
That could not be ADA required. Because just because
of the hill itself,
Just the hill itself, yeah.
But with the Andy Moore property, did we require complete ADA compliance? I mean, the front door, I understand.
The front door and the bathroom door.
But I think he suggested it because his mom...
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
So I don't know that it was conditioned.
Part of the theory behind these secondary units is affordable housing or the in-laws quarters. In-laws implies it's going to be somebody who's going to be older and could possibly need access to that later. So his question isn't so much. His question is, where is it spelled out that we can require it?
Yeah.
And I would go down the same line. Where is it required that we tell them that they have to make all the homes solar ready?
Right.
It's been at our discretion. So my personal feeling is that those quarters specifically could be for an elderly person to have some independence yet help close, and they should be ADA compliant. That's my feeling.
Anybody else? Lauren? No?
I think that if the person moving in, if it's a relative and they need that facility made ADA compliant, then it would be up to him to make it so.
I agree with that too as well.
Yeah, I hate to require it.
Yeah, I think it's going to put more, I think it's going to discourage some people perhaps
From doing the
building
secondaries, which is what we're trying to encourage. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's make a decision on what needs to be changed here if we're going to make a motion on anything. And then we still haven't heard from staff.
It's fine with us if you want to change
So
12 to...
can we take some steps right now to do that and make them feel comfortable that we're all on the same page? Okay?
That would be good.
Okay. So any other questions? Applicant?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do public comment first.
Hang on, coming to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or-
first I want to give
Staff.
to put in their comments first, and then we'll go to the public.
No, I think you're right, is that number 12 can be discretionary, and it can be changed to can, and the rest of the conditions, I think he's
Yeah, I'm fine
agreeable
with
to
the
that.
other conditions, but, you know, it's just a must. There's a different language, and
Yeah.
I read contracts all day for everything, so just...
Quick question for staff. How did that get changed from last month to this month?
There are if I may interject, there are three items that are different from last month to this month.
Okay.
It's
not
the
just
last
that one.
three.
The last three.
The last three, right.
How do those just get put, because this isn't the
I
first
don't
time we've
know.
had this issue.
When I came
Things
back,
just get-
I went out and looked at it, and I was told Rudy to pay attention to 10 and 11 because we measured the driveway and the cracks there, and I says it would be appropriate is to condition it to make sure that that's finished so that we don't have any hazard on the public right away.
And I was asked about the driveway, if I intend to modify the driveway, whether it would be an encroachment permit needed and so on. I said, yeah, absolutely, of course, because it's got a crack. I don't want people falling down on the property, and that's not a problem.
And,
Okay.
And real quick, one last question for staff. The units that have been proposed, the units, how do I put this? Future developments that have homes with the secondary quarters in the rear are on new developments. Is it going to be required that they're ADA?
They can. It's, again, probably going to be discretionary.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Any more comments from commissioners at this point in time?
Hear from the public.
How about, I'm going to turn over to the public. Just give me a chance here.
Come on.
Okay, has anybody want to speak on this particular item? You may come forward. Thank you.
Thanks, I didn't turn in the card this time. but
That's okay.
I have a quick question. Is it possible on something like this to make it like we have with the solar, where they must be ADA compliant ready? In other words, you would have to have the wide doors and things that would be difficult to change later. But I remember the discussion on Andy's back project, and he said, well, there's not going to be a sidewalk up to the front door yet, I believe, or something to that effect. Because that can be done any time that you need to become ADA compliant. So does it make any sense, and would it be possible to put it in a way that says you need to be ready to change this unit to ADA compliant and not necessarily cost so much or go to so much work that's not necessary if you don't have an ADA person in there?
Designed it as such to where it can be done in the future.
Easily, yes.
Any comments from the city and the staff on that?
Well, the readiness is that when the renter comes and wants it, then he has to be ready to change it. If he wants to rent it, it's supply and demand. I would say is that if it was me, I would be putting 3.0 doors in all the hallways and bathrooms to begin with. The front door generally is a 3.0, so that's immaterial.
I was just wondering, developers, when they do come in and develop a project, that most of the doors would be accommodating ADA. I would think that would be the route to go throughout the house, and with some custom details that might be different for a custom home, let's say. So, okay. So what do we, yes.
Oh, no, the last question is, is there state law, federal law on building new structures and it being ADA?
Yeah, public buildings have to comply.
I'm talking about.
Not private.
Right, not private, okay, got it.
All right, so anybody else would like to come forward from the public? Okay, I'll close the public hearing on this, and comments from the commissioners?
On item number 4, the third whereas, the proposed project will mitigate the impacts to a less than, it should be than, it is that right now. And on number 6, the second line of number 6, the construction of the secondary unit is consistent with the general plan and the parcel is a mixed-use zoning designation. It's not mixed use, it's R1.
I'm sorry, what number is that?
Number
Number 6.
On the third whereas.
Thank you.
So,
Is zoned R1 then?
yeah, is an R1 residential.
Not mixed.
Right. R1 low density residential. And then my comment, I think it'd be great to have it be ADA because then it's very flexible and chances are that unit will be used by perhaps somebody elderly or who needs the ADA features. But I don't think we can have it both ways. It can't be ADA ready because if it's ADA ready, it's going to be ADA compliant already, And since we haven't already established that in our municipal code, I don't know that we can go there yet. And it's not federal law or state law for residential. I'd recommend it, but
Sure.
I'm not going to
highly
require
recommend it, but.
Okay, anybody else? Comments? Gonna make a motion?
I'll move. Since the applicant came to us for the informal project review, it's already cleaned up and ready to go. So I'd say let's
approve it.
Make a motion that we approve resolution 2016-32.
32.
A resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Juan Bautista approving a site plan and design review, SDR-2016-801, for a secondary unit at 501 6th Street, APN 002-360-012.
Okay. Second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
We
None?
decided we are going to change that language to can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the revisions
Yep.
included, as brought up by the applicant and also the commission. So I'll go for a vote.
Commissioner Guevara?
Aye.
Commissioner Grevstoff?
Aye.
Commissioner Medeiros?
Aye.
Commissioner Coe?
Aye.
Commissioner Franco is absent. With 4 members of the commission being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes 4001.
Okay, thank you. Okay, public hearing item B. Consider amending the site and design review for 407 7th Street. Applicant Anthony Cola. Approve resolution 216 blank blank, amending the site of design review for 407 7th Street. Colors only.
Hi guys.
Hi.
So basically, just a color change to like a real neutral beige color, I guess, with like a lighter trim. Pretty basic.
Yeah. I have no complaint because it's compatible, I'm sure, with everything around it. And if that's what the buyer wants, then that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Everybody's happy with that? Is there anything from staff that we need to know?
No.
Anybody from the public would like to come forward and speak on this particular item, please do. We have any cards? Okay, nobody's coming forward. I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission and comments.
What's the resolution number on this?
33.
Move that we approve a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Juan Bautista approving the amended to the original site and design review for 407 7th Street, APN 002-380-020 for color only.
I'll second that.
Okay, clerk, give us a roll call.
Commissioner Guerrero?
Aye.
I mean, a vote.
Commissioner Madeira?
Aye.
Aye, that's all right. I heard my name.
Vote,
Yeah.
not roll call.
Commissioner Poe?
Aye.
And Commissioner Franco is absent, with 4 members of the commission being present. The motion is stated by the maker passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you. Moving along, item C, consider amending San Juan Bautista Municipal Code, Chapter 11-03-010, Zoning District Development Standards. Consider approval of resolution approving the amendment of the San Juan Bautista Municipal Code, Chapter 11-03-010, Zoning District Development Standards. Staff?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission, as you recall, the ordinance was changed to accommodate a multiple use in the R1 from a 7,006 and a 5. When we developed the matrix in 1103-10 development standards, we changed the setbacks, the side yard setbacks to 6 foot in the 7,000 square foot. And we didn't realize is that many of the previous approved 7,000 square foot are designed around 5 feet, and it then establishes a non-conforming use to many of those. And so to be consistent, we felt that this is in that first category in R1 7,000, the side yard setback, we're saying is it should be changed back from 6 feet to 5 to be consistent, so that we don't get into a paradox of some are non-conforming and some are conforming.
Right. Mm-hmm. Clean it. Mm-hmm. Oversight?
Oversight, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's the only change within this is that 5 foot?
That is the only change, yes.
So I just have a question, because last time we discussed this, we discussed it with Rudy, and there were several items in the table, if I remember right, that were not correct in terms of numbers. And so he was going to change them and show us, I thought.
Would you point those out to me? Yeah.
Well, now I don't know, they were from my notes from last time.
Several, there were.
The ratios were incorrect. And the building.
Oh, that's right, we wanted to clean it all up in one.
Right, and we found several other errors in the text itself, if I remember right.
And you asked that the changes be noted in bold or something.
Yes, and I don't see that.
And it was from the floor area ratios or the building coverage or the maximum?
Yeah, now I don't recall exactly.
I don't even remember what it was at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if I have them anymore. But that's what we had agreed at the end of the last meeting.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. It's in my notes, but I don't have them.
We can move it out to another meeting.
Is this is this particular thing holding anything up immediately?
No, I think we could change it at any time, but we don't want to promulgate any more 6 yard setbacks on the 7,000.
Sure.
That'll create that error. And
There's nothing that this is going to affect in the next 31 days?
We do have some that are going to be coming up for the Rancho Vista when they come through the site design.
Does this change have to go through City Council?
Yes, when it comes back, it has to go, you recommend to the City Council, it has to be changed by ordinance. And then the first reading and the second reading, and then 30 days after that. So it's a period of 90 days.
Yikes.
So.
I don't remember what those changes were, but I remember that it was significant enough that we were going to change them.
Yeah.
Right, and can those changes, can we go forward with this and make changes later on with those particular items?
Well, you can. The problem could be is that if Rancho Vista comes to the city council at next meeting with the stuff shown at 5, technically, then the city council's looking at something that doesn't conform. And you're in this kind
With
of...
the ratio.
Yeah, I mean, we can say all we want that we're going to do this next month, they're going to do it next month, but I mean, this holds up a this could potentially hold up a project for 90 days.
Do we have any idea when they're going to come back?
They're getting ready to submit, you know. They're in front of the city council on the submittal of their final map for the first 4 phases.
Are we planning a special meeting before the council meeting?
Well, that's on our agenda.
That's on our agenda, to a special meeting.
Perhaps our best plan for this is to attempt to make that special meeting prior to the city council, and that way it doesn't affect that timeline with them. Is that right? If we do a special meeting, we can add that to that special meeting as well. Instead of calling it a workshop, we can call the special meeting
a special meeting.
Special meeting.
Include that on the agenda.
Or to recommend the city council change.
They approve it by resolution.
You still have your notes?
And they recommend to the council.
Mine might be at home.
Yeah, but Rudy should have it.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I
So
thought
they
we
recommend-
discussed it.
Or
Recommendation.
CMAP will have it.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. All right, so we're going to hold this over to a special meeting,
Yeah.
and as soon as we
I would
can,
wish
get that scheduled.
You'd relay to me what it is. I've looked at the FAR ratios and the building coverage exclusively with relationship to a smaller lot requires a higher lot building coverage, and the floor ratio on the 7 and 6 didn't change, but on the 5 it goes to 48 because just the smallest of the lot, the FAR, that's the floor area ratio of the lot to the floor area, increases 48. In R2s, it gets up to 60% because you got more dense because they're 2-story, and in R3, they're 3 stories, it gets up to 70% for the FAR. But again, 50 and 40 and 50, you know. So, we've looked at it, and they're consistent with the old. In fact, I don't think we changed anything in the R2, 3, and the commercial mixed use industrial. There was really the R5, 6, and 7 is the ones that changed when we developed the new standards.
Okay. So we'll push for that. We'll schedule that. Hopefully we'll come to that in the rest of the meeting.
Yeah,
Anybody from the public want to come forward on this particular item? Speaker cards? Nope. Okay, we'll close this item for special meeting. Next on the agenda is action items. We have an action item here. A, denial of a vested tentative map for the proposed Copperleaf subdivision located on the north side of San Juan, Hollister Road, 300 feet east of Salinas Grade Road, parcel number 002-130-01. 012, I'm sorry. Approve the resolution denying a vested tentative map for the proposed Copperleaf division. And I understand that before we start this, last meeting we had a motion to deny. And it needed to be seconded in order to discuss it further, otherwise it would normally be dropped, right? So there was a motion to deny, but there was no second, just to let you know. So this discussion becomes part of that decision.
You know, and compounded, I think you requested our city attorney to be present. But compounded into that scenario is basically the state law and our local municipal code stipulates that you must take a timely approval of a map for a tentative map. And our municipal code, and I'll turn it over to there, requires that you must act within 50 days after you approve the environmental document. And by not coming to a conclusion at the 6th, you have exceeded that criteria. and that would promulgate that the map would be automatically approved.
So maybe if I can explain this, we got a letter today from the developer.
Okay.
And the developer
what this is?
said, right.
Okay.
So the developer said, well, I think our map is automatically approved because 50 days have run since the date that you certified the the negative declaration on this. So when I spoke to Rudy after your meeting, I didn't know that you had actually approved and certified the negative dec in August. So that's when the 50 days started running from the approval of the negative declaration. So I reviewed this letter and I was like, is that true? And sure enough, the 50 days did start running, which under the Subdivision Map Act and also under your government code, under your San Juan code, it says that you have to approve the map within 50 days or it's considered approved. So let me just say that when it was considered approved, then from then there's a 15-day appeal period. So it was considered approved 13 days ago. So there's still 2 days left now if somebody wants to appeal that decision of approval to the City Council. So I would like you to go ahead and make findings either to approve or deny this, because when I spoke with Rudy after the meeting, he told me that you didn't come to a final decision and you didn't make findings either for approval or denial, and the Subdivision Map Act says that you have to make those findings in order to complete your approval process. So if it is appealed to the City Council in the next 2 days, we need those findings from you. The second issue is there's some case law that says, well, the map isn't automatically improved unless you have general plan findings of consistency. So, there's an argument maybe that it's approved on its face, an argument maybe that it isn't. Whatever case, I would like the City Council to go ahead and certify the decision and let them decide whether the 50 days ran and let them make the findings. So one way or the other, this is going to go to the City Council for a decision. Do you kind of understand the two tracks there that I'm trying to explain, because I know it's complicated.
So Rudy I'm surprised, first of all, that there wasn't a second. I'm surprised about that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a second because we didn't have
We didn't have this information.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't seconded because we didn't agree upon the items that were within the denial resolution.
Right.
However, I would like to correct there is that when there is a second, the chairman asks for a second. There is no discussion until it's second, and then the item is on the floor. Then the discussion can take place. What happened is when you made the motion to deny, there was no second, but then the dialogue started there, and it never got seconded. The proper procedures in any Robert's Rules of Order is that when a motion is made, the chairman says, is there a second? He does not allow any discussions until there is a second, so now it's on the table, and then they can call to the question for a vote or discussion.
So you watched the CMAP?
Yes.
Because my recollection, which isn't, I wouldn't swear on it, but I thought that we did agree, 4 of us agreed to deny it, and then once we did that, then Rudy said we had we didn't approve it.
We
Did not approve the resolution.
denied the approval resolution.
Right. And then Rudy said you have to approve this denial. Is that
Right.
And that's what we didn't.
Because we had
agree
never
on.
seen it.
Right.
We were given a copy of something we had never seen before, of a denial that he handed out after we came to that vote.
Right.
And so that piece of paper was brand new to us. We had never seen
No,
it.
that resolution was in your folder.
No,
it was
wasn't.
not.
It's probably this one, the denial one that he gave me.
It was
Yeah.
not in our
It
folder.
was not in our
So
binder.
it didn't get...
And it did not look like this one.
There was one resolution in their folders.
And
There
then they
was.
handed us one when we voted no. And what we were handed, we had not seen before. We had not had a chance to discuss. And we had not had a chance to review or come up with our own arguments.
I saw the resolution for denial.
Nor was it noticed. Well, you saw it because it got handed to you,
Yeah.
or did you have it beforehand?
That I don't remember.
We got it that
handed them
night.
to
We
us.
all
Yeah.
handed, yeah.
We can
I
watch
know
the
it was
video.
handed out.
Yeah.
It was handed out that.
I know I saw it, but whether it was, I don't remember.
Okay.
And that document did have, each denial was supported by an item from the general plan, but what was presented to us in the binder, they're not
Right.
tonight, they're not supported by general plan.
Right, and it should be, yeah.
Right.
It should be, yes.
So,
And then I also asked Trish to do a verbatim and listen to the thing, and she produces a verbatim of everybody's comment.
I wish you were here at planning commission meetings. I know the
Yeah.
situation. but-
No, I'm sorry. I mean, if staff says that it's something complicated, I would be happy to be here at your meetings because I've sat at many planning commission meetings before and I
Yeah,
think I could assist you in some.
Because there were several comments afterwards being, from the audience saying, if you're not agreeing with the approval, it's automatically denied, and that's when that discussion
It became
started
very
coming about.
confusing.
It became extremely, it was 20 minutes worth, because I watched it, it was 20 minutes worth of
Yeah.
chaos. So the
Okay.
question is,
Well-
let me see if I understand how this, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
The way this procedure will work is tonight, we would go through a denial resolution with our findings based on general plan and the discussions we had at the last meeting, in anticipation that perhaps there might be a appeal done in the next 2 days.
That's correct.
And how does one initiate an appeal?
You file an appeal with the city clerk.
Yeah.
And why does it have to be just based on the last meeting? Because the previous meeting, we had also voted, but it was a tie vote, so then we had to bring it back again. So my feeling is that I didn't say everything again because I said at the previous meeting, and so I would think everything would be on the record.
I don't think it's, I think you can make your findings based on the past 2 meetings. I think the problem is that the negative declaration was certified in August and the 50 days has run. And so
Okay.
the map is deemed automatically approved. And it's going to be approved unless somebody appeals in the next 2 days.
Okay. So really,
Or the law says that in the case where a map is automatically approved, it should have general plan findings. And if you don't have general plan findings, it's not automatically approved.
that's what the law says.
There's a case law that says that.
Case law.
So, I don't know what the court would do here. That was an appellate court decision. There's been some cases that hold otherwise, where they've automatically approved the map, cases where they haven't, where it's challenged. So I can't really tell you right now what the court would do if this was done in San Benito County. What I can say is that I think the most expeditious process right now is for you to go ahead and either approve or deny the project. If you approve the project, that's the end of it because it doesn't get appealed. Well, there's, appeal process from then, but that could be the end of it. If you decide to deny the project, the applicant is still going to proceed as if it was automatically approved, but I want the city council to certify the map then. It says that the city shall certify a map, but I want them to certify it and approve the general plan findings, just to make it clear. And I think that makes a clear record for the applicant as well.
So I have I prepared a supportive denial based on the general plan.
I think that would be appropriate. I think if that's what you want to do is deny. If you have a motion, if you get a second right now, you can.
Before we go down the path, can I just ask, as of right now, what I understand from what you've told me is that, or from what you've told us, is that we approved the EIR, and because we did not approve or deny, now the map, right now, as of today, the map is approved.
Yes, if, there's case law that says you should have made general plan findings.
Right. But as of today, our understanding, just so we know where we're at,
Under
right
the-
now,
Strictly under the Subdivision Map Act, and there's some Attorney General decisions, the map is approved. So
And so
anybody
it-
that appeals in the next 2 days would say, I want to appeal that decision.
okay,
And anybody would be,
the public.
anybody in the public.
Right.
One of us, anybody in the public.
Right. It is basically under the Subdivision Map Act, your decision has already been made.
Well, that's disappointing.
Why this wasn't brought to our attention.
I just feel like we're
After the
too
first
small a
time.
town to be having much development because we can't handle it. We cannot handle it.
Aside from that, the issue becomes
Yeah.
in this. Let's take the
communication.
project out of it. Okay, it's this
Yeah.
is whatever. How in the hell is this commission not advised by either city staff or a city attorney, and we're waiting until the 11th hour to actually get that information?
Yeah, like why weren't we
Yeah.
sent this in an email even, or like told before, I don't know, any information?
I actually knew this at about 2:30 today, so that's when I got the letter from the developer, and that's when I found out that the environmental review had been previously approved. That's kind of unusual.
Right, but I mean,
Well-
to have the meeting run last time where no
We
one
were-
understood what
we
we
were under the
needed to
impression
do.
that from the history of approving the pre-zoning, approving the annexation, approving the environmental thing, we prepared the resolution to approve it. And that was the way we looked at it.
Yeah, but that's a
'Cause-
bit presumptive.
Yeah.
When did you know that this 50-day time period existed?
Well, I always known that, you know, I've been
You didn't,
in the
you didn't decide to
business,
share that with us?
because we produced the resolution to approve it. So there was no reason for me to say, if you don't approve it, it's going to be approved in 50 days.
But you weren't here last
Yeah.
week. Could you
Yeah,
have
right.
told Rudy?
Yeah.
Right, or you saw how the vote went in August, and the vote in August was at a standstill. It was tied,
Yeah.
and still no one was advised that
And
it's
every
50
subdivision
days.
that we brought in there, this commission has approved it. So why would I assume anything other than that?
To inform
I
us.
guess more my question is, how you've known this all along.
No, I know the 50-day period.
Right.
But you're trying to turn it onto my thing, and it's the indecision of this body that has caused this, because you could not make the necessary findings to deny it at that last meeting. If you would have denied it, then Kathy would have appealed it to the city council.
Okay, could we have had some guidance on that?
Right.
Could you have told us you're
Well,
going to need to do this and such?
I wasn't here, and
Could someone have?
This,
and you're saying is that because I'm back on the East Coast that I should have advised you?
you should have advised Rudy. If Rudy was standing in for you, he could have,
Told
we
us.
spent so much time. I feel like I'm done. I spend way too much time on all this stuff to have it be for naught.
Yeah, this is, it, I feel like we are getting misguided and misinformation, not just with this project, but projects in general, often. And this, to me, is just another, if Rudy didn't know, then shame on Rudy. These are things that we look to city staff to advise us on.
And rightly so, Rudy should have brought that to your attention.
Okay, is that, okay, I mean, I think we've come to a point here where we all agree to disagree at this point in time.
I don't agree with that.
Well,
Sorry.
good, okay, fine, thank you. Now, should we still continue to ask the public if they want to come forward
Well-
to add to this, or do we just,
I think you closed the public hearing last time,
Yes.
yeah?
and then you're down to just making findings on your general plan.
Okay.
And I don't think that your work was for naught, because, like I said, it's going to go to the city council, by hook or by crook. I'm going to see that, and I'm going to have them make general plan findings, and they're going to listen to anything that you have to say. And so, they can certify or not certify, and they're going to look at your general plan findings, because, I agree, it's a situation where the 50 days shouldn't just spring up on you. You did a lot of work to come up with findings, and the city council needs to have those findings articulated now. So they're on the record, and we make a clear record of this process.
So will we get to see a copy of this resolution before it goes to the city council?
You're going to make it tonight
Yeah,
if you
you should
want.
be drafting
Yeah.
it right now.
But
Yeah.
as we've seen, sometimes our
Inconsistencies in the paperwork
Well,
that
our
we get
changes-
back after.
Vanda said that she has made some
Oh, I
findings
just did
with the
mine. I
general
didn't
plan.
incorporate everybody else's
yeah, I
comments.
wrote some down as well. I just what the final document will
Well,
look like.
can we make a motion on the information you have right now and submit that as a resolution, combining all of your comments?
I think you should.
And as far as denial goes, and make a vote on that, and so be it for the record. That's at least a direction we can take.
I think you need a second to even start the discussion.
Yes.
Right. So you made the motion to deny. We need to hear a second.
I'll second.
I don't understand how none of us,
I did it just to push the vote.
You make the motion to deny tonight?
No, not tonight.
Last one?
No.
Okay.
It did not carry at last meeting.
So, wait a minute, I'm asking for a motion to deny.
okay, you got it from Eric and
Okay.
Lorraine seconded.
And seconded, so that's been established. Based on the information that you commented in the papers that or whatever you're going to write up or have available for the city. Is that what we're going to vote on?
I believe we actually did have a vote, because I remember going through, and
No.
you asked for clarification
I did.
by not approving the deny, or
We
by...
No, we agreed that we were going to, I thought I heard that we're going to build, not we, but you guys were going to build a denial, and then we're going to vote on that.
But at that last meeting, we actually voted on the denial, and that did not carry at the last meeting.
I don't
There
understand why
was
that
never a
didn't.
second.
There was
That
no
doesn't
second.
make any sense to me. Because I know I've always been opposed to it. Nothing would have changed.
Is it on record that we have a vote?
From what I read or viewed of the video, a motion was made, as Roger said, and there was general discussion. Nobody wanted to approve the denial because they would be using the resolution that was in front of them,
But we,
It didn't have the language that we
and
wanted.
it didn't have the language you wanted.
so that's what, yes, we did not approve that.
Right.
Okay.
And the only vote that carried was that you would continue this item to the next
To
meeting.
this meeting.
And here we are.
Okay.
So we have
A
a
lot has
second.
changed since
We have a second, and
The second was...
the second
Lorraine.
was by Lorraine.
Lorraine.
And
So approving this approves a denial of the project based on this resolution.
I think you have an opportunity right now to make your findings. And so I would recommend that if you prepared findings under the general plan, that you vote on them one by one and see if those are findings that your commission wants to adopt at this point as your findings as a quorum.
Okay, so we did not vote to just approve this that's in front
No,
of
because
us.
we have to prepare a resolution.
Okay.
So who's writing this and who's...
Findings in there, didn't I?
Yeah, who is writing this?
Okay, I think that you need to put your findings on the record because as long as you put them on the record orally, they'll be written up by Trish and put
Okay,
into
so
the
we'll each
resolution.
do that then.
Right.
Okay. All
And
right.
these are findings general plan only, or
Just in general.
including comments from the public?
So to disapprove a map, you can find it inconsistent with the general plan. You can find that it doesn't meet the project area, that it's inappropriate to the project area, the size of the project. And you can also make findings that it isn't in compliance with the health and safety of the citizens of the city.
So we cannot base it on any public comments that we heard,
You can base it on any public comments that you heard.
even though they might not have referred to the general plan.
You have to fit within, well, most, public safety, the public welfare and safety, I mean, you can craft almost anything you heard to fit into, does it meet the needs of the public health and safety?
And once a tentative map is approved, the project still has to be approved. Is that right?
That's not true. I think that's the last part of the project right now.
No, I think she's referring, a tentative map is a tentative map. And a vested tentative map has a certain period of time, and they have to bring it to the city council for final map approval. And the final map approval is that it has to substantially conform, the final map has to substantially conform to the tentative map.
But at this point,
Right,
it's
but-
just a map. It's still not a project.
Well,
Many times tentative
That's
maps
the
expire because they don't go forward.
Can they expire, though?
Yeah,
The
if
state can.
if the applicant doesn't move it forward within the time limit, then it automatically expires.
But what about with the Newbear property?
That had a different.
That was under different circumstances because of the
circumstances.
economy.
So when you have a tentative map for a project, you put a list of conditions to it. And then the developer is going to work to satisfy the conditions, some of it like pay to traffic mitigations. They're going to work to satisfy it, and if they can't do it in the here and now, they're going to do it by agreement. And so once all those conditions are approved, then there's a recommendation to go to the council to approve the final map. But that's pretty much non-discretionary. So I just want you to be clear that when you do the tentative map, I mean, you're pretty much
Approving the project.
You're pretty much approving a project that can be built once all those conditions are met.
Right.
Okay.
So the question there is that you have to articulate what is your first finding.
Well, I thought we were each going to do it individually.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear them so we can put it down.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and start.
Maybe recommend that you vote on each of them as they come along, that if you either adopt them or not, because that would be an easier way to keep track, right, Trish?
So I used the A through J that Rudy prepared that didn't have any support.
A through J?
Yeah,
Just have it here.
under the third whereas or A
There's the
through
one,
J.
yes. Right.
Unless there's been a new one that I didn't see yet.
I don't see A through J.
Resolution
On the
2016.
resolution, under whereas, there's points A, B, C through J. And he
Yeah.
points out, like for A, the proposed subdivision is not consistent as a walkable community, and he quotes Commissioner Goubert.
Oh, those are,
Okay. Well,
A
those are the
through-
new ones because
Yeah,
those-
so
those
she's
respond
saying
to
that
website.
based off of those, she has gone through the general plan and come up with points that match from the
Okay.
general plan.
All right, so for item A, the proposed subdivision is not consistent as a walkable community. And goal LU, land use 3. So I'm stating that the project does not meet goal LU3, a compact small town with distinctive architecture. It does not meet goal LU4, a walkable, pedestrian-friendly, and visually rich town. Program LU 4.1.1.7, encourage safe pedestrian routes to transit. Program HPCD 2.2.1.1, develop a complete streets network to connect new development to activity centers. Program CI 1.2.1.3, identify and prioritize unsafe roadway locations for redesign and rehabilitation. So basically, that's pedestrian-friendly streets. And it's not in the general plan, but there's a fatality on 156, last month. So that's another reason. The next item, the proposed subdivision will bring in commuters, adding to an increasing traffic problem. That's what I had said, and I support it with program LU 3.2.1.3, create a greenbelt zone around the city to maintain the distinct boundaries and the small town feel and to limit sprawl. And in the general plan, that's under demote urban sprawl. And I have another copy. But I didn't put my name on it, though. Again, regarding item A and E. They're both, okay, E. The project will create a safety hazard for children walking to schools and crossing a major state highway. That was Commissioner Gredisov's comment, but, pedestrians, children, regardless. Program LU 4.1.1.3, design streets so that children can walk to school. HE 5.2.1.5, implement the Safe Routes to School program. And though I don't know if I commented last month. I know I did before. We can check the CMAP. This is regarding diverse housing stock. Program HO 2.3.1.2, identify suitable sites specifically for farm worker housing. Program H0 4.1.1.1, attract housing that is appropriate for workers of all income levels. Program HE 6.3.1.4, implement senior and affordable housing design guidelines. Program LU 2.5.2.1, expand the range of allowable housing types and areas in which they may be built without compromising local design standards, properties, or quality of life. So just looking at if we're only limited to the general plan, I stopped at that point.
Okay, so we're going to make a motion on this particular items and take a vote?
I have plenty of comments on this as well as additions.
I understand that. But are we going to agree what
first
just
vote
has
on
been
her.
read and, as far as that goes? Do we need to call for a vote on that? Or should we call for a motion on these particular items?
Well, I think we can do either a consensus on that, and then at the end, if there's a consensus.
With the rest of them? With your comments?
Well,
if you have comments?
Consensus with hers, consensus with mine, with hers, with yours.
Okay.
And then at the end.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that being said, you're finished.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes. Specific to the general plan, LU2 in general, a town of balanced and diversified set of land uses. Do you need to have the actual individual ones, or can the whole thing be? Can the whole section be referred to, or does it have to be to the individual findings on the matrix?
Well, you got to be specific. It's LU2.
You need to know what the problem is with that, how it isn't consistent with that goal.
So LU2, town with a balanced and diversified set of land uses. I don't believe that it's balanced to add more housing at this point in time, especially with necessary services not even available in town. That's where the focus should be at this point in time. LU 2.4.1.2. It says target capital investments by the town, infrastructure, streets, and improvements to support private investments in redevelopment. This is none of those. That's a short-term plan. Doesn't capitalize upon that. In the and I apologize if some of these cross over to Vanda's, 4.1.1.3 was one that Vanda mentioned, design streets so that children can walk to school. In the environmental report that had been approved, in their own words, they also say that that is something that's going to be addressed. And it's not being addressed.
Their solution is the school bus.
But that's not a walkable.
Right.
To me, that's where this comes in. Did I just design streets so that children can walk to school. That is my specific issue, is that it is not designed so that children can walk to school, especially safely. In that section on the heading, LU 4.1.1 says design roadways and right-of-way that safely accommodates both auto and non-motorized vehicle users. I see no safety in having people walk, ride bikes, or pogo stick across the freeway. LU 4.1.1.7, encourage safe pedestrian routes to transit. I don't know, does any of the public transit stop on that side of the freeway?
I don't think so.
So this does not encourage the safe pedestrian routes to transit. LU 4.1.1.8, develop walking awareness and promotional programs. To my knowledge, we've never had any programs. And that would be, especially with this project, that needs to be started immediately. LU 4.2.1.3, improve people's street or pathway connection to resources, services, activities, and each other. I do not believe that that is being done in a safe manner. CI 1.2.1.3, identify and prioritize unsafe roadway locations for redesign and rehabilitation. Understanding that this is Caltrans, it's still something that needs to be addressed prior to any development on the south side of 156. CI 1.2.2.1, identify and prioritize gaps in the pedestrian network for infrastructure improvements. I'm not sure those have been thoroughly identified, and those are coming to play later in this, in some of these. CI 1.2.2.2, develop funding plan to implement pedestrian infrastructure improvements. That's a short-term plan. To my knowledge, there have been no such funding plans implemented. CI 1.2.2.3, connect existing and future recreational trails to the city pedestrian network and to the restored Spring Lot Park near the old cemetery plant. To my knowledge, we have no plan for that, which would create a safe passage from one side to the other. Collaborate with the Council of Governments and Caltrans to explore all options for improvements at the Alameda and State Route 156. To my knowledge, nobody has spoken to, except for myself, to ask questions. Nobody has initiated a conversation with them within the last 6 months, year.
With who?
COG and Caltrans to explore options in improving the Alameda and State Route 156. HO.
I could go on throughout the whole thing.
HO 1.1.1.2. Coordinate with appropriate departments. No, that's okay. I'll wait. Coordinate with appropriate departments to ensure that adequate infrastructure, public facilities, water, and services are available or in place to support the development of new housing. We've got well number 1 that's working. We have well number 3 that's offline, well number 4 that's not finished, well number 2 that we're told needs upgrades. and none of the ones that are either under construction are finished yet. I would include infrastructure as being our pellet plant. That's been on the books for over 6 years and has not been completed. Well number 5 has been proposed by this, and my question would be is why are we even proposing a new well when the existing well can probably just be upgraded for a lot less?
It doesn't meet state standards.
Doesn't meet state standards to pour a new upper sleeve?
You cannot pull a 36-foot seal out of an existing well and make it conform to the new standard without drilling a new well. Let's get real, you know. You can't pull a concrete seal out of the ground to pour another 100 foot if it's only 36 feet. It's impossible. You're going to have to get rid of the well and drill another one.
So,
Okay, why don't we just go forward with the denial, and then we can answer the question.
the objective on this, HO 1.1 reads, accommodate at least 450 additional housing units by 2035 to fulfill regional housing needs, needs assessment housing unit projections as mandated by the San Benito Council of Governments. That does not mean that it has to happen at 450. That is something that the general plan has been, that we had to design to by state law. Housing 9.1 introduction reads, San Juan Bautista's population projection is 2,105 by the year 2035. Based on this projection, San Juan Bautista would need 167 more housing units by 2035. What that means is our natural growth, we would add about 167 homes over the next 20 years. There's already 112 approved, 112 approved on major projects, not including the smaller ones within the city. Adding 45 at this point in time is not responsible planning. I also believe that we have been misled in some of our paperwork saying that we have to include it up to 450. We've got to have these because we've got to meet that 450. We have to meet the 450. We do not need to meet 450 homes in the next 20 years. The natural growth of the town says it's only 167. And our paperwork has always said, well, we're just contributing to that 450. I believe we were purposefully misled on that. HO 2.2.1.1, concentrate market rate housing along the north of 3rd Street and McCollum Street. That's a short-term plan for the city. And in that affordable housing element of the general plan, I do not see anything that says to focus development on the south side of 156. While going through this, I found a discrepancy in the general plan that will need to be corrected by this planning commission. And it is on HO 2.3.1.4. 2.3.1.4 on the matrix reads, from the affordable housing projection, 20% should be allotted for to farm worker housing, and the actual text reads that it's only 12%, and that's more, I guess, as an aside, but that will need to be tended to correct housekeeping. But it brings to light that either 12 or 20%, will take the more conservative 12%, should be allotted to farm worker housing, and this development does not address that. HO 3.2, 3.2.1.1. Actually, scratch that. Objective HO 3.2, policy HO 3.2.1, create pedestrian-friendly, scratch that altogether, I apologize. HO 3.2.1.1, design and implement walkable neighborhoods with sidewalks, crosswalks, and front porch. I believe that interior of that, it is creating a walkable neighborhood, but that also isolates them to themselves without improvements to get them actually into the city. HO 3.3.1.2. 3.3.1.2. Oh, 3.3.1.2 is not on the matrix. That's yet another discrepancy that this planning commission will have to correct on that. But it reads in the text, encourage. Scratch that. That was only the discrepancy, and that was an aside. But if we can make a note of that, please. Goal HO4 starts out smart housing development. Policy HO 4.1.1, achieve a desirable job to housing balance. And I don't think this town has done enough to encourage businesses to come into town. I think a lot of that has to do with the formula franchise ban in the city. I think it has a lot to do with it. And I understand people's take on that because they don't want huge stores coming in. But at some point, we've got to bring something into this town. Attract HO 4.1.1.1. Attract housing that is appropriate for workers of all income levels. These homes all appear to be what I'm going to guess is going to be somewhere in the $450,000 to $650,000 range. I'm guessing. And I'm not sure with 6 secondary units, I believe it is. Is it 6 secondary units?
9.
Is it 9? Okay. I'm not sure that one can be included, to be honest. Number CO 2.1.1.1. Finish and implement plans for a pellet plant that will treat water in central location before it is delivered to customers. We have a pellet plant that is not finished, and we've been told it's going to be finished year after year after year. I do not believe that any development should be approved until that infrastructure is there and in place. Objective CO 1.3. Provide non-pollution forms of transportation. To me, that's walkability, bicycling. I don't see that as being a safe proposition getting from that side of the freeway to the main city. Policy CO 1.3.1. CA 1.3.1, promote walkable and bikeable communities. I'm not sure this is addressing that without a safe travel from one side of the freeway to the other. CO 1.3.1.1, establish requirements for sidewalk and bike path connectivity in new development. To my knowledge, we have no current plan to make that happen. and Roger, feel free to correct me if I don't understand the system. CO 3.2.1.7 require new subdivisions and commercial developments to utilize sustainability measures for capture and storage of rainwater for such appropriate uses as irrigation of public open spaces, parks, and lawns. Is that part of the proposal?
That is correct. That's
Okay.
part of this state water pollution prevention.
Is that what the retention pond is for?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. CO 1.4, balance consumption, conservation, and growth in future development. Might be a little bit of a stretch on that one, but again, consumption, I see.
I think we could go on all night throughout this whole general plan of picking things that are inconsistent. It's somewhere where along the line we've got to identify it. If you want to take that whole general plan that says it's inconsistent, why don't you say that is you're now down to 57 specific things.
Okay.
Somewhere along the line we've got to draw the thing so that you can make a vote on it. Mm-hmm. It's an interpretation whether it's inconsistent with some of these, and somebody else could say it is consistent. So we want you to make sure that you're comfortable with what you've said so far, so it's enough to where it can withstand the denial so that it can get to the city council.
So your suggestion is don't go any further in this?
Well, I'm just saying is we can spend all night here and you can go through this whole thing on every policy and in your interpretation why it's not consistent. And I can rebut it to say it is consistent. You know. So. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know, but that's kind of silly because they did contend that their project would support a compact small town and that it was a walkable, pedestrian friendly.
And it meets the walkable things
as well. It's an island.
It is providing bike and sidewalks to the 156 so it can cross. Now you're not saying it's not walkable, but what are you going to do? The people from the Mission RV now have to walk on the side of the street to get to town.
No, I didn't
Here they're
approve
going to
that
make
project.
sidewalks for it. That is an interpretation, but I'm just saying, I'm not defending it, I'm just saying it's a network. And if you take the position where you're not going to do it, then nobody's going to put any sidewalks in because...
The problem is getting across the highway. That's the big problem.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't think we should do anything
Okay.
until we resolve that.
All right. And so you have to identify, then that is the basic issue, is the walkability across 156.
I'll be more than happy to take anything that has to do with walkability and leave it in that one statement.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So now we need is a motion to approve. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On
Go ahead.
walkability.
Mm-hmm. Walkability.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just go more in general, public safety. I don't think the city has done enough investigation. 5.1.1.1 investigate and adopt specific strategies to improve current response time. 5.2.1.1 implement. I mean, everything in that PS 5 from 5.1.1.1 to 5.3.1.1 has to do with increasing response time of law enforcement and fire. Continue support of neighborhood watch, short of allowing the neighborhood watch, person who runs neighborhood watch to have a key to get in here. I don't see the city really doing a whole lot other than making a small speech in front of city council. I just don't see the city getting involved in those types of items. PF 1.1.2.1 again has to do with pellet plant and finishing it. HE, which is a health element, and this backs up the walkability portion. Provide pedestrian and bicycle amenities such as bicycle parking, streetscape improvements, and traffic calming measures. I don't believe that merely adding another crosswalk is really adding any type of traffic calming measures to that. In the general description of the preferred growth scenarios, it is specifically spelled out that the scenarios should be focusing on medium-density housing and 3rd Street extension area, mixed-use commercial and retail development in the McCollum Street corridor, light industrial and commercial development south of 156, infill commercial and residential development in historic downtown. This project isn't on any one of the focuses that's completely spelled out. Public facilities in the general plan, again in the preferred growth scenario description, it says under public facilities and services, number 8. Community that provides high-quality infrastructure and services with minimal financial burden on residents and businesses. I include services as the maintenance workers and city staff providing enough support. And I think this city is grossly understaffed. As it is, we've got 112 going in down here, and it's not going to get any better than 45. Open space 11.1, this was on page 191 of the general plan, second to last paragraph. It talks about including a linear park adjacent to Mission Farms RV Park and Old San Juan Road, which takes advantage of the existing drainage way below 156, and that's not even, and connecting historic walkways, it looks like. Can be continued onto the trailhead at San Juan de Enz and National Historic Trail. That would be helping that portion. And that's not even being considered or hasn't even been discussed. There's a noise element and 1.2.1.1 that talks about mitigating noise impacts to acceptable range within this chart. I know that they're putting in windows and such. My fear would be is that when 156 gets made into a 4-lane highway, they're going to try to build a gigantic sound wall, and that's going to go against our general plan in the aesthetics department. Goals, objectives, policies, and programs of public facilities. It talks about high-quality water, sewer, a community with high-quality water and sewer services provided in the most efficient, cost-effective, and environmentally sound manner. Some might argue that that is already being done, but without new wells being done, I don't think we have quality water or a safe system. Policy PF, this is on objective PF 1.2.1, maintain adequate water capacity for residents and businesses, new development should only be permitted when water services can be provided without threatening the level of service to the rest of the city. Without new wells, that's not being done. The summary table 18.1, it starts on page 257. Strengths that they show right now is quality small town community and walkability. Weaknesses include lack of communication between key stakeholders. Current infrastructure is not conducive to future growth. Lack of business serving local residents' needs, i.e. dry cleaners and hardware stores. That to me is one of the biggest ones, is that there aren't enough services in this town to service the people here. We're forcing people to have to get on the road and drive to Hollister, to Gilroy, to Salinas, to somewhere else. The more people we add, the more traffic we're creating.
Is that directly related to this project?
I believe by adding more people, it is. We still don't have that. I mean, you can argue against that.
The lack of business, is that directly related to
you're right.
housing?
I will give you that one. Weakness, commuting population and lack of local jobs. Threats on that same list: development of State Route 156, proximity to the fault line, and adjacent to the floodplain. And I've made several requests to find that report to city staff and have yet to see those reports. For some reason, my emails are either being ignored or there's a problem with an email system somewhere. Weakness, lack of police presence and lack of code enforcement. That again goes to overburdened city staff. Key stakeholders, which is a reference back to one of the weaknesses, include the City of San Juan Bautista personnel and departments, city manager, city council, public works department, planning commission, city planning, and city attorney. Lack of communication.
Is this related to the project?
It is directly
Lack of
related. It's related in that it's going to create a burden, more of a burden upon the staff if approved.
Okay, go for it.
Well, that's conjecture, but, we'll put it down, I think you have enough to substantiate that you're denying it,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There were some notes that came from. I had a couple of questions that did not get answered, and so I will presume that they.
But wait a minute, we're putting items that we need for denial.
We're talking about
So,
findings for
findings.
denial, not questions, but findings.
So the fact that I didn't get answers to the questions I've been asking.
Put your findings down. What is the finding?
The question that I asked that didn't get answered was, is this development revenue neutral?
The answer is yes.
Where is that shown?
Mm-hmm. I have a report that shows that in detail.
But your question...
But that's a question, and it's
That's
not
a question
finding.
that deserves an answer,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't give me a specific...
I can't make a finding unless I see that report. I've written
then it's a supposition.
emails to city
Then it's a
staff and not gotten any response.
Then it's a supposition on your part to assume that it's not.
So
Have you researched it to say it's not? I have, and I'm saying it is.
Okay.
So, so I don't make the supposition that it doesn't.
Okay. Who generated the report?
I did. So we got to get on to it, Vanda, and Dave, Lorraine, somewhere along the line, you're going to have to draw this line. We can go forever here, and what's the point of it? You've made the findings to deny it. Let's get on with it. Make the findings to deny it, and then let it get appealed.
And I take exception to the fact that I'm trying to lay down the stuff that was discussed, and you're trying to get me to stop.
No, I'm not trying to get you to stop. I think you articulated enough to where there's adequate room to deny it.
The only thing I haven't heard is from Lorraine. Do you have anything you want to add this time?
I just had a few points that were more general. I looked more at the sort of overall view of the general plan. So one that has been mentioned already, but I'll just mention it because I have a slightly different point. So the general plan states that there should, if there's 1% or natural growth, then that would be 167 houses by 2035. Or they suggest 3% annually, which is suggested by the Housing Commission. And even at that rate, 3% annually is about 17 houses per year. And so that supports, I think that we're not quite ready for this many houses at once, just because it's a little faster than perhaps what the city can handle right now. Another point I pulled from the general plan was regarding open space, which I found was interesting. It states that San Juan Bautista has 1.4 acres per 1,000 people, but generally they suggest 3 to 5 acres per 1,000 people. So it shows that perhaps we should focus our developments a little bit more on promoting more open space. And then in the clustered growth 1.6.2 and preferred growth scenario 1.6.4, they both advocate for light industrial or commercial growth on Old San Juan Hollister Road and south of 156, which I think is inconsistent with the proposed development. And then I found a lot of the same findings in the section under element goals in terms of things like a city surrounded by a thriving agricultural setting. And this is taking what was agricultural land and turning it into a development. So I would say that has some effect on that type of goal or objective. And there's many more. They've already been mentioned, so I won't repeat them. There's just one or two, I think, that were maybe not mentioned. I mean, there's the noise, and it specifically states quiet neighborhoods. And I know that they had mentioned putting in soundproof windows, but I live on the sort of the north side of town, and I can still hear the highway quite well. So I think sound is something, or noise, that really promotes the sort of the feeling of community in a quiet town and a historic town, I think. So I think that it's hard to achieve, but that having that neighborhood right near 156 would really affect the people who live there. I can stop there, but yeah, I had a lot of similar findings too.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
I have one last finding that I believe does need, this is a finding, and I said it last time.
To the development, because of the development.
Because of the development.
Okay.
Is I did speak to community members, and my findings were none of them wanted this development. I didn't feel that it was responsible at this time.
I understand that you did that.
That's a finding?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that your findings is your findings. I don't think that came from this commission, other than you going out and finding it out for yourself. I don't think. I would rather think that we, as a collective body, make that decision to go out and get a survey done, as far as that. And I think we do that at these meetings. So just to throw that in there.
Well, then the findings of the last meeting is that.
Yeah, I understand.
There were a lot more people that didn't want this.
I understand.
There were the people that did want this, and of the people that did want this, of the 4 people that at the last meeting that did want this, 3 of them were directly involved with the project itself.
Okay, I was there. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so right now, It is up to someone here to make a motion of denial. There's a motion. Who's going to second it? Based on the information that we received today?
Based on information that would, how does that,
Oh, I'd
Based
say
on the
that-
findings.
That you
Findings.
have to adopt these findings as the findings of the planning commission in denial
Right.
of the project.
So we're saying we're going to go call for a vote.
and an I vote is approving a denial.
Right.
With all of these findings
With
that were
these-
stated.
all
That's,
of the findings.
that's what
So
I'm,
she said adopt these findings in denial of the project, right?
and that's in the record. That's being stated in the record as we go. So let's have a call for a vote.
Do we have a first and a second?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
We
I don't
don't?
think you do,
Yes,
not
you-
to adopt the findings in denial of the project, you do not have a first and a second.
Well, just so I can state, I agree with, I think
They made the
being
motion to
succinct
deny
in
it.
our arguments
To deny.
is helpful. And that perhaps creating a list of how many are there now?
100?
How many findings do you have, Robert?
Well, I was up to 57, and with that, I think there are about 65.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of them were repetitive in what I heard. So to me, I don't know, I always appreciate arguments that are a little bit more succinct and have maybe like subcategories or something to kind of, like the walkability. Like,
Walkability with
right, kind of fitting under,
references these.
yeah, kind of fitting under sort of Rudy's initial sort of outline, and then perhaps taking some of these and quoting them, or referencing them underneath to show like that it's not consistent as a walkable community. For example, just I think it makes for a stronger document or stronger argument.
All right. We need a vote.
Okay, calling for a vote.
Well,
You need
are
a
we,
first and a second to adopt the findings.
which findings are we going to go with?
Right. I mean, that's where I.
Okay, so do we need to go through Rudy's A through J and provide? I mean, I did a lot, but I didn't do all of them. But you mentioned G. The city does not need to grow 3% as mandated by the state, but should continue. So what finding was that?
It was.
I mentioned it in,
So it's already been discussed, brought forward. It's a finding already.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so shall we?
Yeah. So I guess I don't know. I guess it depends on how perhaps you want to write them up.
Well, we're going to take this and listen to the tapes and write them up, and stuff like that.
Right. I
And-
think you made a good point that with 50, however many of them there are, some of them are repetitive. So to put, I mean, in my opinion, if you put like 3 or 4 items supporting each element, to me that would be sufficient. But that's my opinion. So
Okay.
Rather than a document with 56 different.
well, I don't disagree. And my point was not to sit here and bore everybody with the fact that I know how to count. It had more to do with, there are several places that certain things pertain to.
Right.
I personally do not have an issue with it saying walkability issues,
This one is.
Bim, bim,
2.1
Yeah.
point this, that, and just list them all underneath it in one bracket.
So are you okay with just going with A
Water.
through J?
Water is these.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. I think they need to be, I believe that some of them need to be referenced so that if when city council looks at this, they can go, well, what is he talking about? They can refer back to the general plan and go, oh, that's what it means. And
Right.
there it is.
Yeah. No, I think it's important to support each one. I just think.
If I could just put my 2 cents in here. I
Please.
mean, you kind of need to make a decision tonight because, if somebody appeals it, it's going to be on Thursday. If, it's going to go to the council for certification at the next meeting. I mean, you've kind of, I would do the same thing. I would take a lot of information, then try to do it under subcategories. But you really can't just do that on the record tonight based on, 57 findings or whatever and try to put them under separate categories right now. It's almost impossible without having them up on a computer. And
I've got them all
so,
highlighted. I can
well,
read off numbers like
well,
that.
you
Yeah.
actually just said them all, so they're all just on the record. I mean, the issue is, do any of you have particular objection to one of those, or any of them made, because I would just go to the council with what you have now. I mean, you've got it out pretty particularly, and you have every issue there. I mean, they know, I mean, they're going to see it and hear it.
Just would add that I think we all understand that we're not expecting that the developer would make all of these items happen, but we feel it's incumbent on the city not to approve a project until some of these things have been addressed.
Agreed.
Understood.
Is there an opportunity for public comment on this?
The public comment is
Closed.
closed on
Closed.
this.
It was closed last
Yes.
month?
Yes.
Uh-huh. That was mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I know she mentioned it, but I didn't quite understand why. I understand it's not a public hearing, but I didn't know there was.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I still think we don't have a motion yet.
Well,
And
I think we need to quickly go through and categorize these and agree upon the categorizations of those.
Right, or, I mean, perhaps our suggestion could be looking at A through J.
Okay?
And
Is there
if we-
anything that's
If we do not agree
missing,
or
or-
anything's missing, then perhaps, I mean, it would just, again, be a suggestion that the city, when you draft this document, you could use what you have basically and then cite underneath each one
Which
the-
each applies to.
the parts that we have given to support.
Is that possible? We need to, whatever we're sending has to be done fully in
So-
agreement tonight. So we can go generalities, but he can't then go in later and add in all of those.
Right, I would just suggest perhaps this format that we have currently, but with those supporting elements underneath when it's applicable, rather than just a laundry list of everything.
Well, I think, Vonda did do that, and you did
Yeah.
do that, and then Eric's comments were just more, down the line. So maybe what you want to do is adopt this, in Vonda's format, and with you adding your few comments to where they go. And then maybe just include also Eric's comment as a separate document, because it really, I mean,
If you
it
give us just a few
encompasses a lot
moments.
of the same things that are there. I mean, you'd have to put everything under A through G, and I don't know that that's necessary. I think the
If you give
council
me just a
can
few
read.
moments, I can take her list and go through my, because I have them all highlighted, to be really quick, and I can just go through and see if there's anything that they missed that
That you would like to-
that I'd like to cover, if that's.
It's up to the chair, it's not my.
I'm trying to get this to a motion and a vote. And I know we've got the denial in place. Let's vote on it. That's where I want to go with this.
But what we want to be sure is that what we present to city council
I understand.
will be manageable and, okay.
I think for the record purposes, we're going to be able to do that once it gets finalized.
So Roger, are you clear what areas mine fit under, or do you want me to list?
Well, the walkability and the housing and the infrastructure.
And the growth. The growth rate,
yeah.
just
Yeah.
something that I didn't include.
I think it's important that it
Definitely.
shows specifically that the general plan says natural growth is 167 homes, and that there's already 112 approved.
And that would be 167 until 2035.
But we've already stated, we've recorded
But we're
that,
kind
right?
of
Right, but
making it
I
concise
think that's
now.
a big enough point.
Yeah,
Because this has been,
Oh, you're saying that that's primary item?
yeah.
I think that is a primary item.
That and the pellet plant that
Agreed.
has,
Yeah, I didn't reference that. That one was good.
And safety.
You did not, did
Reference.
you mention in there about farm?
Yes.
workers?
farm work, yeah.
Your thing?
Diverse
She
housing
did.
stock, yeah.
Okay.
Open space was,
I didn't really, well, I said the green, let's see, create a green belt around the city to maintain the distinct boundaries and the small town feel and to limit sprawl.
Noise, that's on your?
Yeah, I
Yeah, you
mentioned
had
that
noise
one.
on yours.
And that would probably go under, well, I guess there isn't one currently that mentions noise unless you go for I, which talks about sound walls.
But how did we support that from the general plan?
I got it right here.
Yeah, I also mentioned it. It's under the element goals, 1.7, and it specifically refers to noise and states quiet neighborhoods.
Yeah, and 1.2 covers specifically State Route 156 noise.
So that can go all under I. Probably.
Those don't have backs. I think it definitely needs to be noted how many, that there were majority of people who spoke at the last meeting that were not in favor of it.
Well, I agree with that, but
That's a finding, is it not?
That's not a
It's
finding,
not a
and
general
that's,
plan.
you're doing a head count there. The people for pro would pack the thing just the opposite, so that's subjective, and it has no meaning at all.
And not only that, I mean, the city council will have the minutes. I mean, they'll have the minutes from this
Yeah.
meeting, they'll have the minutes from that meeting, they'll know
and
what
hopefully
the
they'll have
public
audience
decision
present.
was.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it covers it. I think all that gets covered.
Okay, we have.
Okay,
All right.
so who's going to make a motion?
So this is encompassing this and Vanda's notes?
Right.
Okay, what is this? Rudy's resolution, the A through J that Rudy presented?
Yeah, but again, I think it's important in this resolution to have the specifically laid out the utilities, the water and the pellet softener, as well as clarifying the natural growth
Right.
of the town and that number 167. And pointing out that there are already 112 in major developments, probably more like 120 once you get into all the other small ones.
Okay, so that'd be G.
Gee.
And they can, yeah, support that.
Yeah, that supports that, but I believe the number needs to be put into that.
The 167.
Natural growth is 160, is estimated 167 homes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the 3% is also
And-
17 per year, so we've exceeded that.
And there's 112 approved now. I think that's a number that needs to be spelled out so that we know what those numbers are.
There's actually 118, but,
85 and 26?
and Valles for,
Oh, yeah.
the
okay.
little ones.
Agreed.
118.
So given those,
So that's, you're using Rudy's resolution, plus
Using
the points
Rudy's-
you added, and you're making the motion.
yeah, with the growth added, pointing out that the water pellet plant and the wells are not completed.
Got it?
As well as, and this was mentioned the last one, the sewer plant still has not had its sludge removed. And with that, I will, what's the resolution number?
33,
34.
Yeah, I think we're 34 now.
34?
So I will re-motion, is that a word?
Make a motion.
Yeah, you reiterate your motion.
Okay, reiterate my motion. Resolution 2016-34, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Juan Bautista making the findings for the denial of the vested tentative map 2016-01 for Copperleaf subdivision situated on the north side of San Juan Hollister Road, APN 012-130-12, 021, 023, and 031 with changes stated.
That's been noted on record.
I'll second that.
Call for vote?
Commissioner Guerrero,
Aye.
Commissioner Bretosoff,
Aye.
Commissioner Medeiros,
No.
Commissioner Coe,
Aye.
and Commissioner Franco is absent. With 4 commissioners present, the motion is stated by the maker passes 3-1-0-1.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. Everybody?
Thank you so much for being here.
Just let me know when you want me to be here.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, thanks to everyone on that. Okay, next item, action item is B, workshop follow-up, noise ordinance, fencing, parking. I think now we're going to, what else we're going to throw in there?
The amending the ratio
Oh,
of,
the ratios.
yeah.
Right, oh, that's right, right,
Lot
right.
sizes.
Lot size ratio.
Yeah,
Okay.
just verifying that those changes were made.
Okay, so when are we going to have this meeting?
It needs to be before the 18th.
Okay, how about the 13th?
I cannot be here.
That's Neighborhood Watch. I'm handing over the baton that night.
How about the 17th? Monday the 17th.
It's good for me.
It's Karen's birthday, but sure.
What's that?
It's my wife's birthday, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. 17th, 6 o'clock here?
Can make it short. Oh, well,
And the item on the agenda will be that was carried forward
that, yeah.
on the,
Well, and did we, noise, fencing, do we want
Was
to?
it, yeah, noise ordinance, fencing, parking.
The noise we need to really finish. What's holding us up on
Can we
that?
do the 12th, or is there something else going on?
We could do the 12th. I'll be here.
I can do the 12th.
Wednesday the 12th.
Next Wednesday?
We've got, let's see, the 12th.
Wait a minute.
Training.
Something else is going on.
Yes.
They had to-
I think it's that countywide planning thing.
Oh, it is
And
the
I was not going to be
countywide
here for that.
Oh.
Did we get something?
We haven't, yes. We haven't come to that yet.
Can we
wasn't gonna
discuss
be
the
here.
date?
Is that still happening on the 12th?
I got an email.
So are we going back to the 17th?
Yeah, they moved it to the 12th because the,
I know, they
yeah.
did, they gave me everything to post.
I could go and look at.
Does anybody want to do a Friday?
I have a strategic planning committee meeting on the 14th.
Yeah, I can't do the 14th.
The 21st through the 23rd.
That's too late.
I'm not here.
We need to do it by the 18th.
Yep.
I'm available on the 17th and the 12th and the 14th.
We can do it on the 17th. It's Karen's birthday. She'll kill me, but.
Sorry, Karen. You'll have a late.
It's not you that's going to have the issue.
You have a late date night.
Yeah, well, I don't have work the next day.
Oh, you don't have work on the 18th? Oh, but you have work.
She's in.
No, so I can take Karen out after.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's where I was going.
Okay, okay.
Okay, what did we decide?
All right, we'll do the 17th at 6?
17th at 6, okay.
And in that, we're going to cover the
Noise ordinance,
setback,
fencing, parking, and
the
lot
noise.
sizes, right.
And lot sizes, did you?
the
that-
setback.
Well,
So
setbacks,
Two items.
yeah.
2 items.
I don't know what to do about fencing or parking.
I don't know that there's going to be anything we can,
I can't, we're going
yeah,
full
that's
plate.
too much.
So let's just leave it noise ordinance and the setbacks.
Okay.
Try to nail down the noise ordinance instead of
Okay.
trying to cram it all together.
Gotcha.
17th.
Resolved? Okay. Item C, Countywide Planning Commissioners Meeting. That's going to be set for the 12th?
Has that been changed?
Okay.
I have to look in.
And,
If it would have been today.
Who's going?
I'm not going to be here.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here.
I can make it.
I'll make it. What time will that be? I didn't get it.
Well, wait a minute. I
I-
have a conundrum.
You can't do both. Wait, no, your birthday?
No. I have,
Is that the same night as the forum?
no.
No,
forum
it's-
is
No,
Pushed it up.
it's on the,
Switch it to tomorrow.
form's on the what, the 5th?
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can simply hold off my resignation until after that meeting.
Oh.
Well, that's the thing, is me going doesn't really
I know. Well,
lend anything,
should I just go by myself? Is that
But you
it?
haven't resigned. Oh,
because I'm gonna.
What about Mr. Franco? What
I
about,
wasn't really thrilled about the whole meeting to begin with.
who, Ernest?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Are we going to represent ourselves or what?
Have someone there with the.
I mean, if you want me to go, I'll go. And
I want everybody to go.
report, I will not be here to report.
I think,
on the October
I
meeting.
believe
Or the November meeting.
everybody should be going. That's what I believe.
well, I believe that too, but I already have plans.
So yeah, I will go, just out of sheer curiosity.
Okay, so that's going to be what time on Wednesday?
I leave at 6 o'clock. but-
6 o'clock? Okay. I'll go back to my... All right, so that's been decided. Now, discussion action items. A is status of a San Antonio minor subdivision. Oh, before we go into that, and I think now that we still have a few public people here, I'd like
Do you want
to...
to talk about the county?
No. I have a plaque here for someone in this room, and it's the City of San Juan Bautista presented to Lorraine Koch with a sincere and grateful appreciation for dedicated service to the citizens of San Juan Bautista Historic Resource Board Planning Commission, April 2016 to October 2016 . So, congratulations and good luck from all of us.
Yeah,
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I
Oh.
know.
Oh.
My husband got a job in
She's
Virginia.
going to be leaving us.
Oh.
And we
Wow.
have to be there by the end of this month.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, that's too bad.
That is too
bad
bad.
for us. Good for you. New
Going to
opportunity,
be
but...
an interesting mix.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just have not have any subdivisions in the
Might not
next...
make quorum.
Okay, let's go to item 7, discussion action items. Item A, which is status of San Antonio minor subdivision. Discussion.
It's still in progress. They're completing the last house there, and they have some work to do on that. And then there's a couple infrastructures that they got to put in, and that is the raised crosswalks, or speed bumps, modified speed bumps. One on 7th and one on 7th.
Did I see that house on the end is for sale?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody purchased the property, the remainder.
Oh.
And now they're selling it. We were totally duped on that one.
No, I think that is a legitimate exercise in minor subdivisions. It's been going on since 1972, so nobody's been duped. I'd like to correct you. That is a standard practice in every jurisdiction I've been around.
still think it was presented correct, not very well, and I think there was a lot, but that's beside the point.
Okay. Next item B, lower development fees for secondary units.
That has been completed and the city council has adopted it.
And did they, so last time we discussed whether or not they would need to be Section 8 or something, didn't we?
Did we come to a resolution on that?
I was just curious, did they want
decided
that?
not to.
No.
Not to require.
Not to-
They lowered they lowered the fees to encourage the development of secondary units.
Yeah, we looked at that last time. There was a discussion about Section 8, and I was just curious if that.
Okay. Item C, Harvey's lockup update.
He's got
I don't have
two
that.
items that he has to finish, and that is the improvements
have
on
that.
Church Street and completing the sprinkler system. He's got about half the
Where did that
building
come?
in there, and it's plumbed to complete the other half. So he's questioning whether he should be accelerating his cash to do the sprinkler system or the public improvements. I think I convinced him to finish up the sprinkler system first before the road.
I thought the sprinkler system was finished.
Done.
It was done in 2 phases, and they put the first phase in, brought it in off of 2nd Street, and then plumbed and put all the sprinklers halfway through, and then the other half will be extended. It's all plumbed for that. Just ran out of money.
Had I not brought that to the city's attention, would that have been?
No, it's always been that way.
Why would it be allowed to be occupied without sprinklers? Isn't that against some kind of law?
Yeah, that was done before I came. They occupied it.
Why?
And when you called it to our attention, we encouraged him to start the sprinklers, and he brought the main service off of 2nd Street and then the riser, and then he plumbed about half of it to put in sprinklers.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I know I should do it formally, but I did notice some graffiti on the 2nd Street side of the Harvey's lockup just this week. There's some like red spray paint. I can do something more formal, but I thought I would just mention it.
Yeah, I'll remind him, and he can go and take it off. Yeah. Generally, we let the police department know first so they can take pictures of it.
Oh, okay.
Because they log in a database on that.
It does look a little bit. I don't know what the symbol is, but
They actually they tagged their trucks, and they actually caught him because they caught him in the act of doing the exact same thing. We get a check from the county every month for like $30 for the next however many years because we told them how much it took us to correct it. So yeah, they do log it. They do go through, and some guy out there with a rattle can got caught. San Jose.
Okay, let's go to item D, traffic analysis in San Juan Bautista. What's that all about?
Yeah. I don't think there's a traffic problem in San Juan.
That might have been from last month.
But
It's an item for discussion.
was it
I think
based
the
on?
traffic problems are on 156. But
Yeah, was it based on your comments on traffic on the highway?
You mean my last comments? Possibly.
We talked about it last month where
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
brought it up,
Yeah.
alternate routes
I
are
know
being
that
heavily
John brought it
traveled.
up too as well.
Yeah.
He had some discussion about that too.
But in town, maybe that's not
Yeah.
quite
Okay.
the focus.
The problem, as I understand, is mostly out of the city.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of people are taking shortcuts
Yeah.
around.
Roads that aren't meant for heavy traffic,
Exactly.
yeah.
But most of those are, fortunately or unfortunately,
In the
depending
county.
on how you look at it, in the county.
Right.
Right.
Okay, item E, City Hall staffing. What is there to discuss there?
What else is there?
I think
You don't have that either?
I just have what was in my binder.
Vanda did not get
The,
a revised copy.
revised copy.
How about item F? Did you all get item F?
Yep.
so
Which is 1113, number C, and number D, First Street residential project updates?
going back to E real quick.
I'm sorry.
I do want to make a comment that I
Yeah,
believe-
City Hall staffing?
I believe our city hall staffing is grossly understaffed, and I know that budget constraints are kind of dictating that, but I
Yeah.
believe that city hall staff is is understaffed.
Agreed.
At its current state, I think it's going to be requiring, and I've hired enough people in an office environment. You could probably put a full-time worker in there, additional to what's in there now, and maybe cover what's here.
And that doesn't count for the incoming
doesn't account for any of the
projects.
additional things
Yeah.
that are coming up.
We
It's
don't
just-
totally have space either.
Oh, no.
Yes?
Yeah,
Yeah, well. I mean,
Well, how is the city going to manage all the new water bills from all, the
Automation.
Automation.
Yeah, automation is one way.
Do you have any public comment on this item?
Sure.
Well,
It's a discussion, so.
if it's a discussion item, action item, items,
Yeah, everything.
I don't know if I need to turn it over to the public.
Everything's open for discussion.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, the answer is yes.
Can be made on anything. That's why I was surprised that
Okay.
there wasn't any on the one item, even though I understood that the
Well,
public
please
hearing
come.
was closed, but I thought there'd still be public comment. But at
Okay.
any rate, use that one. I turned in on the last one too. Jolene Cosio, 181 Lang Street. Ernest Franco brought up staffing at the last meeting, and it occurred to me that we have used both inspection companies and code enforcement companies in the past, and I think the code enforcement will probably be helped by the hiring of the security force. I think everybody's kind of hoping that's going to help, and if it doesn't work out, then maybe we need to look at code enforcement. I'm not a big fan of farming a lot of things out, but as Trish said, there's not room at City Hall, and I've had experience myself and know other people who've had experience with inspectors that come in from elsewhere to do a roof inspection or whatever, and it just seems like, especially with the projects that we have, never mind the new project that may go in spite of a lot of public comment against it, that hiring out possibly code enforcement if it's needed, even after the security force comes in, and some of the inspection work would greatly free up our current staff to get some of the infrastructure projects done that really, really need to be done.
Thank you.
And we have the money for all that?
Nope.
Well, that would have to go through city council and budget and all that. In some
Well,
ways,
you
it
just-
makes
what-
more sense than hiring in-house.
The way you get around, that is you increase the fees for the inspection to cover the cost of the outside inspection.
Additional.
Huh?
Additional.
Correct. Yeah. And that's, we get that all the time at my work. I know that in some of the smaller cities, I think they did it once to me in Saratoga, they actually send their planes over to San Jose and then bring them back. And I'm not saying we necessarily need to ship out planes and stuff, but certainly some inspections, certain things could probably be farmed out either to, call Hollister, see if they have the ability, or the county, or Gilroy, someone who, I don't know, it's just ideas. Just ideas. But
Well, it's all good ideas and it's good thinking, but at what point do we sit down and say, okay, we're going to work on this and find a way to make it happen?
And I'm not sure that's our purview.
Okay, so
no, but we should be making. We should be
Making recommendations.
We should be making recommendations from our point of view. Yeah, we can't directly do anything, but we can make recommendations saying, hey, we see this coming up, and this is a recommendation. This is an idea. This is an opinion, however you want to state it.
Okay, item F. 1113, number C and number D, First Street Residential Project Update.
I think both houses are being constructed. D is fallen a little bit behind, but they're about ready to do the scratch coat and everything. Both of the structures, the sewer has to be completed and connected to 3rd Street on the line there. The driveway is incomplete. They have to widen the driveway, do another, on First Street, they have to install a new driveway entrance.
Oh,
They did the
okay.
fire hydrant already.
Oh, wow.
And they got the water down there, and then their landscaping, you know.
How about
And-
the sidewalk on First Street?
And that's,
Good.
when they get the
Pending.
driveway, they're going to finish
Okay.
that.
And,
As a side note on that project, where they had the sewer line coming out to the 3rd Street through the Lopez property, they actually did a pretty good job of coming through and digging the hole, getting it all there. But where the actual final connection is, the hole, and maybe over time it's filled up a little bit, but they left a huge hole just wide open. The 4 of the residents over there, jail, Fresno, they had small children jumping around there. So yeah, maybe they can go over and plant a couple.
Well, they have to saw cut the pavement and
Oh,
take
they
that
actually have
line
to
that
take
goes all the
always?
way out to the manhole. That's why they left it open.
Well, I don't have a problem with it open, that I understand, but it's not covered with anything. And again, right now, there's no one living there per se, but I mean, people can walk through and onto that thing. That really needs to have a decent plywood, inch and an eighth plywood or something, whatever, to cover that spot.
Okay. Thank you. Item 8, comments and reports. Planning commissioners.
I have nothing
Further
further
to
to add,
say?
except I want to say thank you for your time here. We've been a great asset. I wish you were going to be here longer, but
Yeah.
good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, it was,
We can Skype you into it.
There you go.
it was fun.
That's right, yeah.
It was a good
Yeah.
experience. I wish I were
did a good
staying
job.
longer.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, sorry it was so short.
So, yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mentioned it last month, and I will make it official. I am resigning. I will get you a letter now that my contract is done. My last official thing, I guess, will be after the county-wide meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will be relocating to a different state. I will miss San Juan Bautista and miss. It was, of all the things that I was having the hardest time with, it was staying here in town, because we like the town, although my commute's gotten really bad in the last 6 months or so. But yeah, I'm really going to miss being part of this unique little epicenter of,
Nothing like it.
of what else. I try to describe it to people, and they're like, I mean, I had my high school reunion, I'm trying to explain it, and they're going,
Huh?
there's only there's less than 2,000 people, and it's less than, 40 miles away. I'm like, yeah, it is. So, yeah,
It's always been that way.
And we're going to miss you too.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything you've done.
So I will get you my official letter now that I have all that officially done. My last day in town is...
So we're not going to see you available,
Halloween.
you're not going to be available to us next month at this table at
Unless
all.
something goes horribly wrong.
For your sake, let's
Okay,
hope it
so that's
doesn't.
it. So, yeah, I want to equally say thank you for all your help
Thank you.
and your hard work and everything you've done for us.
Yes.
Really appreciate that, yeah. So, and as a local, we're going to miss you there too.
Well, no, and I appreciate it. I mean, I know
Yeah.
I was a little bit of a transplant and such, but I've really tried to get into a community, try to get into the community spirit. I think, like I said last time, I already have our candidate over there, John, will be helping out a little bit with Neighborhood Watch, and Ray Rios will be taking over Neighborhood Watch. I'm going to miss you. I appreciate all your help. So that's, it was nice to kind of see that. I know the first couple of meetings were like, what the hell's going on? I was like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
I'm still saying that.
I hate to leave, but Kansas is calling.
And your grandchild.
Yeah.
Family comes first. David, how about you?
I've listened to a lot. I enjoyed listening to everybody's comments. I'm really pleased the way this community has come together, particularly the commission. The things that we have to go through step by step, and I'm learning a lot as I go to as well. And I'm very proud to be a part of this commission, not to mention the community that we all live in. And hopefully, whatever you leave behind we can carry it forward. We'll try to. We'll try to carry it forward
Can I just-
and do the best we can. And hopefully when you come back to visit,
Oh, man, I wish.
your dreams will be realized. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's my ambition as far as the community goes. But yeah, again, thanks. So it's going to be interesting who we have to deal
It will
with
be very
later
interesting
on.
to see how this all works out.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Can I just add real quick?
Mm-hmm.
I won't mention names, but the offer that is on our table for our home is very well connected with San Juan Batista. They are an active community member,
good.
and I believe that they'll be really good for that neighborhood, especially.
Wow.
So,
Oh, good. Well,
as active as they can be.
we go walking by them.
Yeah.
We'll
Say hi.
we'll hook up. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Good.
I'm going to leave my picture on the mantle, though, just screw that thing into some
Oh gosh. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I got myself. How about which is assistant plan strategic planning committee report? Do we have anything?
City
City manager.
Cities. I'm sorry. The city planner. Yes.
Rudy's been sick. He's been down for a couple of days. Just like poor Ernie, he's down too.
Wow.
Yeah, I had it. It was terrible.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a flu going around for a little bit.
Yeah, it's just a wicked one.
yuck.
Wicked.
Okay. It's strategic planning committee.
Strategic plan, in a nutshell, we covered a lot of, John, help me if I forget something here, but we did cover school board meeting for the use after hours. I know city staff and council's been working on that. There were some grants for the creek restoration project that Teresa Levanino has helped with. Is that right?
Yes.
She's gotten a $20,000 grant. PG&E's kicking in $1,000. The wildlife
State Department of Fish and Wildlife.
State Department's kicking in another 19 grand. So that's a big deal. It's going to be a 3-year project. That's a big deal.
Wow.
And I can't say enough about Teresa Levanino.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
she's
is
great.
just a firecracker when it comes to that stuff.
I'd like to see her in
She
here.
will be missed as
Yep,
well.
she
Yeah.
will.
We're still looking for an adult volunteer to help guide the youth commission. Apparently the San Juan committee is working on TV commercials to boost business development. That's kind of cool. I don't know when and where or what, but that's kind of cool. Apparently some people are still working on trying to see if we can get Wells Fargo, a bank in town. And then we spent a little bit of time talking about the Volunteer Cleanup Day, which is a national thing that I think we kind of threw together
Pretty quickly. Very well, too.
And it's going to be a neat event. We wanted to kind of limit it until we all kind of figured out what the hell we were doing. So we did limit it this time. Unfortunately, I will not be able to participate in it.
Did you fill out a form, John?
Out of town that weekend. But,
Yeah.
but I will be helping.
I don't have that.
Okay, I'll give
I
you
will
one.
be helping to plan it right up to the last second. So.
Okay.
Oh, so the captainship for the Luck Park is open
Luck
again,
Park's
huh?
open now,
Okay.
yeah.
So I wanted that, and then
Luck Park.
I was told that they're already.
I got to visit my parents before I
Aw,
leave, okay?
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. So moved. Can I say it any faster than that?
So that being said, this meeting is adjourned as of a minute ago now. As of right now.